In the last video, we showed the area around the city of Miyako, especially what the local communities and cities look like 10 years later after the event in Tohoku. In this video, we will gradually move a few kilometers to the south and continue mapping, this time around the city of Otsuchi, and show again what they look like today. But before we start, if you are new here, smash that like button and click on the bell to see more of amazing content. Welcome on the Top Topics channel, my friends. The coast of this area is very rugged and is made up of numerous fjord-type bays, which has often led to an incredible intensification of the effects of the tsunami, which has caused really great damage. Let's have a look more specifically. We will start near the city of Yamada, which we discussed in the previous part. As you can see, between Yamada Bay and Funakoshi Bay lies this inconspicuous strait of solid land, nestled between the Funakoshi Peninsula and the Japanese mainland. This narrow strip of land was completely flooded in 2011 by a wave that flowed in from Yamada Bay. Due to low elevation, the water flowed into Barakoshi Bay without any obstructions and completely devastated this picturesque valley. We are on a newly built breakwater, and what we see in front of us is Yamada Bay. The town of the same name is located here. As you can see, the new breakwater is built very robustly and should reflect a wave of a similar magnitude as in 2011. Theoretically, in 2011, protection was minimal and therefore there was complete devastation. Only buildings at the foot of the hill were not affected. As you can see, the elevation of the whole area is increasing here, as in many other places in Japan affected by tsunami in 2011. Buildings are being built in these elevated places, which are thus much better protected. The whole operation is unbelievable, especially from a logistical point of view, as tens of trucks, millions of tons of material are transported from the inland. In this way, the altitude of the original space rises by up to 15 meters. When we look behind these fences bordering the construction of this magnificent work, we still see the remnants of the destructive force of the tsunami. Also on the other side of the strait at Funakoshi Bay, the construction of a new protective wall continues. We will now move to the other side of Funakoshi Bay, to the part called Nanami Beach. This whole area, as you can see, is exposed to the open ocean. Unfortunately, there was virtually no passive protection in the form of a rampart. Therefore, there was an enormous intensification of the effects of the tsunami, which manifested itself here as a rapidly rising level. These pines you see here form the only natural wall that reached up to this hill. Most of them were destroyed by the massive outflow of the water that occurred after the tsunami. Here you can see that there has already been an increase in elevation and the introduction of a large amount of soil and subsequent new construction. From the original town, there is basically nothing left. As you can see, the outflow of water was really enormous and destructive. Notice these hills. Behind them is another bay called Otsuchi Bay, after the city of the same name that used to be there. Let's take a look there. As you can see, the bay is very large. The wave came from this direction, around the lighthouse, the destruction of which is notorious and was captured in many videos in 2011. As you can see, the new lighthouse is already standing here. Although the tsunami didn't look extremely dangerous at first, it eventually gained incredible power and literally erased the city from the map. The degree of destruction was indeed enormous, and Otsuchi is clearly one of the most affected cities in 2011. Here you see the appearance of the city several years after the disaster. Almost all the buildings are gone, only the empty area overgrown with grass. Sometimes you only see the demolished torso of the building, which the wave could not completely destroy. Most of them were massive reinforced concrete structures. Looking at these buildings is a frightening idea of what the wave must have had. As elsewhere in the affected areas, reconstruction work is progressing here, and again, also increasing the elevation of the terrain. The main weakness of the city were the relatively low breakwaters, which the wave easily overcame. As you can see, new, much larger breakwaters are being completed today, which should bring the desired protection to the city. As proof that the city is beginning to revive, it is also the fact that in this part of the city, very close to the ocean, these industrial enterprises were built. It seems that the city of Otsuchi has a future, and despite its dark chapter in history, it eventually moves and rises from the ashes, like a legendary phoenix. Friends, we are slowly ending this video with this positive outlook for the future. In the next part, we will move further south and look at the area of Kamaishi, another hard-pressed city during the disaster in 2011. And that's everything for today's video, my friends. Thank you very much for watching, listening, liking and subscribing, and see you at the next one. Thank you, bye.